We welcome everyone to Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. We welcome you in this evening. It's Monday, June the 16th, 2014. We're here every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Give us a call if you'd like at 931-623-6090. We're going to talk sports, and we're going to talk a lot of it in the next hour to come. A lot of things happening since we last spoke on Sports Talk Mania. Last week, we actually had a passing of a football coach, and a well-known football coach that took the Pittsburgh Steelers to several Super Bowl championships. That was Chuck Noll. Chuck Noll passed away at 82 years of age, and our hearts are deepened by the passing of Mr. Chuck Noll. Coach, we know you're up in heaven, and we wish the best to your family. And as always, Coach, we know you're looking down upon the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but I always respected Coach Chuck Noll being one of the classiest guys on the field. And again, our heartfelt condolences go out to his family. And another passing today in the world of sports, Tony Gwynn at the age of 54 years old, one of the best baseball hitters that I've ever had the privilege and honor of watching. Mr. Tony Gwynn, usually when he got up to bat, he got base hits and never was the big power guy, but always got the base hits. And one of the nicest guys in baseball, and luckily I had a chance to actually meet him while watching the Nashville Sounds play one time, and a great guy to talk to, great guy to actually communicate with. And this was after his years of playing, back when he had just retired. I'm going to say he'd probably been out of the league for 5 or 6 years. And again, our heartfelt condolences going out to the Tony Gwynn family from all of us here at Mustangs TV and Sports Talk Mania. God with you on that. Also, a lot of things happening in sports this past week. We had the NBA Finals going on. We had the U.S. Open going on over the weekend. And, man, I'm going to tell you, got that NHL hockey. Whether you're a hockey fan or not, I sat personally and watched the game between that the actual Kings ended up winning the Stanley Cup the other night. Watched it go into the second overtime. I'm not a big hockey guy. I'm not a big hockey fan. However, if you like hockey or don't like hockey, you missed one more of a hockey match this past over the weekend when the Kings took the series 4-1 to win the Stanley Cup, second overtime. And I'm going to tell you, all the way down to the wire until the last goal was scored, it was one of those contests where you've seen, hard hits on the glass. You've seen a lot of shots. The puck would actually just nail the center of the goal and be knocked out, and the goalie's done an excellent job on both sides of that, as I've seen several pucks headed toward the net. Again, congratulations to the Los Angeles Kings for taking the series 4-1 to win the Stanley Cup this year. And talk about the U.S. Open. Man, I'm telling you what, when you're talking about being cool, calm, and composed, Martin Keimer took the U.S. Open with a score of 9 under par. It's 70 for par on that course, and he just wiped it out. Every day, took the lead from day one, never looked back. And when you're talking about Mr. Cool, that was how he was. Even going into yesterday, watching his round of golf yesterday, he never let a bad shot compound to another bad shot. He would always seem to take that extra moment, take him a deep breath, and then make the next shot just as if nothing had happened. And that's one thing on a golf course, especially when you're talking about the U.S. Open, one of the majors in golf. That's one thing that's so hard to do. The greats, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods always looks calm, cool, and collected until he hits a bad shot. And usually when he hits a bad shot, he still trails it every now and then with another bad shot. And, of course, me playing golf, I'm going to hit bad shot after bad shot, and I know I am, so I just go on with it and have a great time. But these guys, that is their profession. They are getting paid good money to even just be on the golf course. And this guy yesterday, with all the money up for grabs in the U.S. Open, taking, the championship, he was just so calm and cool. And if you've ever watched golf, you see that. And the thing that gets me is on any other sports talk shows or whatever, it wasn't a big deal. Nobody's making a big deal out of it because it's Martin Kaymer that done it. Well, who's Martin Kaymer? Well, I'm going to tell you what. He's a U.S. Open champion for 2014 is who he is. Had it been Tiger Woods, oh, man, we would have heard about that through even shows that's not sports shows. You would have been hearing about it all day today, but that's because of who he is. Or Phil Mickelson in the same regards. If it was Phil Mickelson that done it, which is who I'm on root for just about every golf tournament, but if it was Phil Mickelson, it would be the same way. It would be talk about how good they played, how good he played. Martin Kaymer, my hat's off to you, brother, because you played one more round, actually 4 rounds of golf that was just, I mean, he had one round that he shot a 72, I believe it was a 72 on. And, that's 2 over par for a par 70 golf course. But still, to stay that calm, cool, collected in day 4, which is his 4th round of golf, and have all these other golfers, just breathing down his neck, so to speak, and him staying so calm, cool, collected, that's something else to do that. So hats off to you, Martin Kaymer. Congratulations on taking the 2014 U.S. Open. And we're going to talk a little basketball as well. Baseball, we'll talk it all on Sports Talk Mania. Phone number, give us a call, 931-623-6090. Phone lines are open. If you got something to talk about sports, we're going to talk sports. If it's something else more important than that, we may even get into that as well. You're listening to Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. We'll be back right after this. The Tennessee National Raceway, everyone. This Saturday night, June the 21st, no stock car racing. Instead, they're going to have motocross going on. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, just outside of Hohenwald, Tennessee, 316 Racetrack Road, Saturday night, June 21st. No stock car racing at the Tennessee National Raceway. However, come check us out. Motocross racing, first motocross at the Tennessee National Raceway, June the 21st.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Talk Mania, where we're going to talk anything about sports and a few other things if we have to throw it in there if it's more important than sports. Give us a call. 931-623-6090 is our phone number. Phone lines are open. Let's talk some sports, someone. Give us a call. 931-623-6090. It's Sports Talk Mania. We're going to talk a lot of sports. Talking about basketball. Now, I'm telling you what, as far as the basketball championship was concerned, personally, I thought that the Miami Heat was going to take another one from the San Antonio Spurs. Man, was I fooled. The San Antonio Spurs come out, done exactly what they needed to do, and to be honest, they probably should have swept the Miami Heat. You talking about the big three at the Miami Heat with Bosh, Wade, and James? I'm telling you what, you better be talking about the big 6 at San Antonio as even 7 probably. They went probably 7 deep off their bench. I know they went a little deeper than that. I think they ended up playing 9 players in the series. However, you talking about 6 players that got the job done. They made the teamwork make the dream work, as someone that friends with would say. The teamwork made the dream work, and that's what happened on the San Antonio Spurs as they took it from the Miami Heat 4-1 in the NBA championship. And then, it was kind of sad in a way that someone like LeBron James was trying to, make an excuse or two. Didn't appreciate that from him. He's a professional, and for the most part, he took it well. And I'm sure I would be griping myself if I just lost an NBA championship chance myself personally. So, in ways you can understand it. However, these guys are professional. Act like you've been there. They've lost ball games before, even though it's the big three and they're all this good and all that. They've still lost games. I mean, if they hadn't lost games, why even play the games? Just mark them down as 62-0 or whatever you want to give them the record as, and just mark them down with no losses and go on. But that's not how it works. That's the reason the games are played on the court, on the field, whichever sport you're in, on the ice. It being in NHL, in hockey, in the world of hockey. That's the reason the games are played. Just because it looks good on paper does not mean it's always going to work on the field, on the court, on the ice. It doesn't matter as far as that goes. That's just one thing that really bothers me when these professional athletes, will make an excuse or something when, they're getting paid these millions of dollars to do what they love to do. And that's something that bothers a lot of folks in the world as far as being a sports fan. On to other things, know that Jadeveon Clowney, the top pick in the draft, had a surgery, had a sports hernia surgery done on him. So will he be back and ready to go? They're saying he will. Said he shouldn't miss any time, but we'll see. That's an injury is something that can be as simple as you might miss 1 or 2 minutes of a game. You might miss some of the season, but either way, we'll find out what goes on with Jadeveon Clowney there. Also, a lot of other things coming up in the world of sports, and we'll talk about any of them. Give us a call. Phone lines are open, 931-623-6090. Again, phone lines are open. Give us a call. I promise I'll do my best not to hang up on anyone this week. Had several people hung up on last week. I apologize for that. I do make mistakes. I was manning the thing for myself last week. Producer wasn't here. I got the producer here with me tonight, so hopefully we won't mess up too much this week. And if we do hang up on you, give us a call back because we apologize. We definitely don't want to hang up on anyone. We're going to talk sports with anyone, and we'll talk other things. Last week had some interesting calls last week coming in. We got to talk a little bit of sports, got to talking about maybe the building project for a new high school in Loretta, Tennessee. So we'll talk about things like that as well. If it's something to do with sports and ties into sports, because with new building project going on, guess what? That means possibly a new football field, new baseball field, new sports complex in general. We'll talk about that as well. Appreciate Commissioner Chris Jackson for calling us last week and updating us on what was going on there. And again, we are based out of Loretta, Tennessee, but that does not mean that's all we're going to talk about is Loretta football, baseball, basketball, or the sports in general. We're going to talk about Lawrence County sports. We're going to talk about Tennessee sports. We're going to talk about the United States sports, and talking about the United States sports, man, the World Cup going on right now in soccer. Whether you're a soccer fan or not, you better be getting behind your USA soccer team, as the last I saw, the USA was still winning, or was winning their first contest over Ghana by a score of 1-0. And let's see, it's still showing USA is 1/2 away from beating Ghana for the first time ever. Ghana, one of those soccer clubs that's usually not going to be one of the worst, but USA and Ghana are back. They were at halftime. As soon as we get any kind of updates, we'll keep you up to date here on Sports Talk Mania. Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. I am Lee Haygood. Give us a call. Phone lines are open, 931-623-6090. And we've got something we're going to be talking about next week. I'm going to get that in before we get another commercial on. Excuse me. By the way, want to thank Tennessee National Raceway for sponsoring this segment of Sports Talk Mania. And you'll be hearing some of their promos played as we go throughout the show. Again, we're here each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'd love to get a phone call from you. Give us a call, 931-623-6090. I was going to save this for the end of the show, but we're going to talk about it now. If you tune in next Monday, Alabama fans, you're probably not going to like it, but I'm going to say it anyway. You tune in next Monday, Lee Haygood is going to give you his reasons why the University of Alabama football will not make the NCAA playoffs. For the first time, they're having the NCAA playoffs this coming season, at the end of this coming season. And next week on Sports Talk Mania, Lee Haygood is going to give you his reasons why he does not think the University of Alabama will even make it to the first year of the NCAA playoffs. That's coming up next Monday. I'm going to give you all the whys, ands, and whys about that and why I'm thinking that, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong come football season. But as of now, like I say, next Monday, tune in to Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood because he's going to give you his reasons why he does not think the University of Alabama will make one of the best 4 teams in the nation to play for the national championship. We'll be right back in just a moment. The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
Yo, this is Big Fred. Tune in Thursday night. Big Fred Show. You never know what we're going to talk about. Never know where we're going to be. We'll be everywhere because that's where we like to be, is everywhere. Tune in Thursday night, 7 o'clock. The Big Fred Show. Also, check out Lee Haygood's show, Sports Talk Mania. He's an encyclopedia, and if he don't know it, it ain't true. So there you go, y'all. Big Fred Show, Sports Talk Mania. Tune in.
Back here live, Sports Talk Mania. Phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. We know you out there listening and tuned in. Give us a phone call, 931-623-6090. Be glad to take a call, talk to you about sports or anything that you think might be more important than sports. We'll talk about that as well. That's here on Sports Talk Mania, but the sports world is where we're at. Talking about that World Cup, man, I'm telling you what would it be like for the United States to beat Ghana in its first match of this World Cup? That would be totally awesome, as Big Fred would say. And you heard one of his promos. Make sure you tune in to us, Mustangs TV, on Thursday nights. I think he starts at 7 p.m. and goes until 8 p.m. or a little after he went this past Thursday night. And the Big Fred Show usually traveling around. So if you get a chance and the opportunity, it'll always usually be posted on Mustangs TV, where the Big Fred Show is going to be coming out of. Most of the time, anyway. They're going to let you know where they're going to be at on Thursday nights. Go out and join them if you can, wherever they're at. If you can't join them, make sure you text, email, or whatever the questions to Big Fred. I promise you, Big Fred will get on there and answer your questions to the best of his ability anyway. And he does talk about anything and everything. That's the Big Fred Show right here on Mustangs TV on Thursday nights, starting at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. As for now, we're on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. It's 6:20-ish, so we got about 40 more minutes in the show on Sports Talk Mania this week. We're here to talk to you about anything sports. Give us a call. We'll start talking about high school football, basketball, baseball. It doesn't matter. Looking to get us a guest on the show next week. I always pay attention to Mustangs TV and Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood on Facebook. We'll get things posted on special guests we're going to have. We're going to start trying to, we're still kind of new to this, so we're going to start maybe trying to get posted what we're going to talk about the next week. That's the reason I've got come on out with my little secret about what we're going to talk about next week. We're talking a little bit about college football and why Lee Haygood does not think that the University of Alabama Roll Tide, Crimson Tide, will be making it to the playoffs, the NCAA playoffs, to play for that national champion. That's next Monday on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Give us a call. Phone lines are open, 931-623-6090, and we're going to talk some sports, hopefully real soon with you. Let's get into some baseball, man. I'm telling you what, we talked about the unfortunate act of Tony Gwynn passing away today at the age of 54 years. Something was said, and I heard this on actually the Paul Feinbaum show while I was making my way to the studio today. Heard this on the Feinbaum show. The thing that was said on there that kind of got me is they was talking about tobacco use in sports. And a lot of you see these baseball players come up with big dips of tobacco in their mouth, and we're actually was sitting here looking at a picture of a pitcher was pitching, had a big old dip in his mouth of snuff or whatever. And, whether you use it or whether you don't use it, it's not a good thing to do. There's all kind of warnings against it. So, including myself, and I'm talking about myself when I say this, watch what you're doing with your tobacco, and, if you can get off of it, because I'm pretty sure that's what they're holding, that saying that Tony Gwynn lost his life of. I got my producer, KJ, shaking his head. KJ, can you shed a little light on what maybe I was trying to say here?
Yeah, I was reading the news earlier, and they said on I forget who it was. I think it was actually Coach T, and he said that he read that Tony Gwynn unfortunately got cancer, had a tumor or two removed from his jaw, and said that it was attributed to years of smokeless tobacco use. And, basically that's where it all began. And, like Lee said, I just want to talk about for a minute how big of a role that kind of thing plays in America, because these guys are out there, they're playing in front of thousands of fans every single night. Whether they like it or not, they're somewhat of a role model to these kids. And, the kids see it out there on the field. And, I'm a big believer in, what you are around and what you see, you're probably going to think that kind of thing is okay. If you're around, people who, chew tobacco or whatever, then you're probably going to do it, especially as a young kid. So that brings up the debate, should smokeless tobacco be banned in major league ball games?
Well, and KJ, it's something, and unfortunately, I've had that addiction, and the thing about it is, you hate to down anybody for it, but I know as well as anybody else that smokeless tobacco is not good for you. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. But, like with any addiction, those things kind of carry over. Well, guess what? When it comes to Major League Baseball, NFL football, soccer, golf, any of these sports, I can honestly remember watching John Daly smoking a cigarette playing in a championship in golf.
Right.
Was it cool? No, I don't think it was that. Did I start for it being a cool reason? No, I don't think I did. However, you got addictions that go on. Well, with these professional athletes, how are you going to tell, excuse me, how are you going to...
Lee needs a sip of water over here.
I'm getting choked up on this, what it is. How can you tell, and I apologize, excuse me for my absence there for a second, but how are you going to tell these professional baseball players, grown men, grown women, even in some of the women's sports, how are you going to tell them not to do either smoke smoked tobacco or smokeless tobacco. How do you come about that and tell them not to do it? That's something that's so hard to do, but like you said, that's been attributed to Tony Gwynn's early death. Dies at the age of 54 years of age. That's been the major attributor to what they're saying that actually took him, gave him cancer and took his life. So I personally, don't get me wrong, I hate for the professionals to do it, because like you said, these young kids and all, that's their role models, more or less. If even dad being their biggest role model, these guys still rub off on them because they sit and watch them on TV and they say, oh, look at him, he's spitting. Well, that's pretty cool. Or look at him, he just smoked a cigarette or whatever. That's, but that thing, I don't know that you're ever going to get it out of professional sports. That's just something that I don't think will ever happen.
It's an interesting debate.
It's very interesting debate. Let's talk a little baseball. We're about halfway through the season. Got the All-Star game coming up here before long, as baseball does play 162 games, which is 81 games before, the halfway of the season. And most teams have got in somewhere around 72, 73 games at this point in time, and 71 games, I think, maybe. But with that being said, with baseball like it is, we're going to kind of give you a rundown. Again, phone lines are open. Feel free to call 931-623-6090. We'll talk about anything sports. If it's more important than sports, we'll talk about that as well here on Sports Talk Mania. Going down the listing, if you're an American League fan, I'm telling you what, Toronto is on fire right now. Toronto with a record of 41-30, and they are 4.5 games up over the Orioles, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Devil Rays. That's in the American League East. In the American League Central, you got Detroit and Kansas City. They're just kind of right, and Cleveland as well, which is Mike Golick's team. Got the Cleveland Indians on there. They're all staying around that first place spot. They're all 35 and 36 wins. The losses is a little different, as the Cleveland Indians have a few more losses than the Tigers and the Kansas City Royals, as they are 3.5 games back just because of their losses, but they're only 1 win behind. So a little different, a little closer in the Central than it is the American League East. Looking at the American League West, you got Oakland A's 4.5 games up over the Los Angeles Angels. And if you're a Braves fan, you know them Los Angeles Angels, because they were just playing the Atlanta Braves, and one of the best offensive, and this, again, a very good debate over who's better and what this, that, and the other as far as in professional sports. However, the Los Angeles Angels, when you're talking about hitting, they've got one of the best offensive squads. I mean, anytime you got Albert Pujols on the team, you're going to be good anyway. But he's got so much help around him that it's just not even funny. And the Atlanta Braves pitching staff seen that, as even though Atlanta Braves took 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Angels over the weekend, I'm telling you what, when you talk about scoring, the Atlanta Braves went down, I believe it was yesterday's ball game. If it wasn't yesterday, it was Saturday's game. They went down like 3-0 pretty quick. Well, following that 3-0, of course, the Braves come back, scored enough runs, took the victory on that one. But the Angels jumped out the one ball game to like a 4-0 lead, and then the Braves come back, and then the Angels jump back on. When you're playing a team like the Los Angeles Angels, you better be waiting. You better be ready to score a whole lot of runs. That's over in the American League. Let's get over in the National League, which most people around our area is going to pay attention to the National League just simply because of the Atlanta Braves and how close to home they are. The Atlanta Braves are right now leading by 1 game over the Miami Marlins and the Washington Nationals. Now, is that a lot? No, absolutely not. The Braves are only 4 games above 500 with a .529% winning percentage. Not doing what is good or as well as they thought. Of course, they've got a homestand coming up now against the Philadelphia Phillies, who's at the bottom of the National League East standings with a record of 29-38, 6.5 games out of first place. Again, Atlanta holding down that first place in the NL East by a 1-game lead. Looking at the Central in the National League, we got the Milwaukee Brewers 41-29 record. They're 3.5 games up over the St. Louis Cardinals. I know a few of my friends are big St. Louis Cardinal fans, and that's great. St. Louis Cardinals 5 games above 500 right now with a .536 winning percentage again, but they're still 3.5 games out of first place with the Milwaukee Brewers having at first place, and of course the Chicago Cubs down there at the bottom of the NL Central with a record of 28-39. They're already 11.5 games out, and we're not quite to the halfway point yet. Still like about 10 more games to get to the halfway point, 11 games, something like that, depending on rainouts, this, that, and the other. Over in the National League West, you got the San Francisco Giants with a record of 43-27. They look like they're one solid team, as most people expected them to be. Are they as solid as they want to be? Probably not. A lot of room to go in. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the NL West. San Francisco usually starts out on fire, and then they kind of fade toward the end, but then they come alive again come playoff time in the major leagues. They're up 6.5 games over the Dodgers, who's sitting in second with a huge payroll and huge money riding in their sports market out on the West Coast out there. And they're still 6.5 games out against San Francisco. And Arizona just kind of way out of it, already 14 games back. They're at the bottom of the NL West. That's the Major League Baseball again. Our heartfelt condolences going out to Tony Gwynn's family, and wishing them the best. And hopefully they come through this okay. Hate to see, especially a great guy like Tony Gwynn passing away at the age of 54 years old. Hate to see it again. Our heartfelt condolences going out here from Mustangs TV and Sports Talk Mania to the Tony Gwynn family. Give us a phone call. Phone lines are open. We're ready to talk some sports with some of you. 931-623-6090. Give us a phone call. We're going to take us a break. We'll be back. Want to thank our sponsors, Tennessee National Raceway and the Big Fred Show, that you can catch live on Mustang TV Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. We'll be right back. The Tennessee National Raceway, everyone. This Saturday night, June the 21st, no stock car racing. Instead, they're going to have motocross going on. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, just outside of Hohenwald, Tennessee, 316 Racetrack Road, Saturday night, June 21st. No stock car racing at the Tennessee National Raceway. However, come check us out. Motocross racing, first motocross at the Tennessee National Raceway, June the 21st.
Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my brother Lee on Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood. Be sure to also tune in on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock for the Big Fred Show. Me and Lee and Mustangs TV, we the Total Bro Network, baby. Tune in and listen to us.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Talk Mania. I'm Lee Haygood. I'm your host for the next 28 minutes here on Sports Talk Mania. Give us a phone call. Phone lines are open. 931-623-6090. We know we got people out there. Give us a call. Let us know what you want. Like take this time to, in case we got some of these folks that called in last week to our show, in case we got any of you out there listening, give us a phone call. We'll be glad to talk to you again. We had Mr. Biff Helton on the phone with us last week on Sports Talk Mania, talking about those Lady Loretta Mustangs basketball team playing in some tournaments down in across state line down in Alabama somewhere, and hope someone, the Loretta Mustang fans and Lady Mustang fans, got a chance to get out there and support them. He was talking about how good it's doing, and I seen some funny things. Everybody's doing this cold water, ice water thing for to help out with some of these different things, and Abigail's plan being one of the biggest ones, you know, and I've seen a lot of people do that. And ladies and gentlemen, I've already been challenged to like 4 of them things, and I've already completed 2 of those things. But, you know, it goes for a good cause. A lot of this stuff does. But I've seen a lot of pictures of those Low Red Lady Mustangs. They was taking plunge in a swimming pool and things like that. Well, Lord, it's 95 degrees outside. Everybody like to jump in the swimming pool. Come on, get it going. Let's get some ice water if you're going to do the ice water challenge. Big Fred had a whole bucket load of water dumped on him, and I think you can see that on Mustangs TV. Go up there, Big Fred took the cold water challenge, and thanks to Brown Equipment, we actually got them to dump a whole front end loader of water on old Big Fred. It's kind of funny watching him get a little wet there. But anyway, you can give us a call. We'll talk some sports. 931-623-6090. Phone lines are open. Ladies and gentlemen, give us a call. We'll be glad to talk to you this evening. Monday, June the 16th, we'll be glad to talk to you. Give us a call, especially any of you Low Red Lady Mustang fans that might have went down and checked out what was going on last week as far as the little basketball camps that they is having. Give us a call. We'll talk about that.
Now, Lee, I gotta call a timeout right here. Timeout on the floor. Say you've been challenged 4 times in the ice water challenge, and you've completed 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to call it right now. I mean, video or it didn't happen. I mean, I'm on the Facebook page here, and I don't see anything of you accepting the cold water challenge. Where is that?
I've accepted it, and I've done it, and I've completed it. And you know what? People just keep challenging me, and I ain't even going to listen to them no more.
Well, they keep challenging you because they don't know that you've already done it.
Well, you know.
That's I didn't know until you just told me.
I'm not pretty to be videoed.
Oh. Trust me. You've got to do that for the proof.
First time I had a gallon jug of water poured over me. Ice water, by the way. Still had the ice in it. And the second time was a bucket, a little small bucket of it.
You got to do it right if you're going to do it.
Well, if I decide to do another one, I'll make sure I get on video just for you. Unfortunately, I'm not technically, I am technically challenged, and a lot of times I can't even make my phone answer the phone, as you know, because I cut a few people off last week. So
we may have to do a Mustangs TV cold water challenge.
We may just have to all of us take it just to show these people.
That may be coming up.
20 minutes left in the World Cup. We're trying to keep you up to date the best we can. 20 minutes left in the World Cup. USA still leading Ghana by a score of 1-0. And for you Cincinnati Red fans, I just saw something, and my producer's scanning through the stuff so fast I can't see what's going on here. But something about, I believe it was Brandon Phillips. Oh, that was just where he was making a statement about Tony Gwynn. And again, our heartfelt condolences going out to the Tony Gwynn family. No score after 1 inning of play between the Braves and the Phillies. They've just opened up that game. And, of course, the Phillies, like I say, they're kind of at the bottom of the NL East. And we'll talk about the Atlanta Braves. Give us a phone call, ladies and gentlemen. I know you out there listening. Don't be shy. Give us a call, 931-623-6090. It's Sports Talk Mania. We're here each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Help us out a little bit. This is kind of a new show, up and going. We're actually depending on all the folks out there, the great listeners and watchers of Mustang TV, getting the word out a little bit more about our shows and the few things that we're adding to Mustangs TV. Again, don't forget, we got Sports Talk Mania on Monday, 6 to 7 p.m. We've got the Big Fred Show that's up on Thursdays at 7 p.m., usually run from 7 to 8 p.m. All those times are Central Standard Time. And like I say, give us a call. We'll be glad to talk sports with you. Don't be shy. Give us a call, 931-623-6090. And like the promo said a little earlier, don't forget, at the Tennessee National Raceway, which is a great sponsor of Mustangs TV and Sports Talk Mania, we got a phone call coming in. Let's get on the phone lines. Sports Talk Mania, who we got on the line and where are you from?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, man. What's your name?
My name is Rob from Florence, Alabama.
Rob from Florence, Alabama. What's going on, Rob?
Nothing much. Actually, I wanted to say monkey grass. I'm a first-time caller, but I've been listening for quite some time now.
Hey, that's great. Glad to have you on the show. Glad you called. Don't make yourself a stranger. Keep calling.
Thank you.
What we're going to talk about today, Rob?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say that I would love to see a Mustangs TV Coldwater Challenge League.
We'll just get us all together then, won't we?
Oh, yeah. I would love to see that. But
I'll tell you what, if they want me to do another one, everybody on the Mustang TV staff is going to have to join in, and I'll do one more as long as everybody on the Mustang TV staff joins in and does it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Including Wade Pettis.
I think that'll work.
Including Wade Pettis.
Right.
Oh, he's being called out right here on Sports Talk Mania.
All right, Rob, what else do we want to talk about today, brother?
Well, I heard you talk about the Braves earlier, and I recently saw a video uploaded on YouTube where Phil Wellman, who is the coach of the Braves AA affiliate, the Mississippi Braves, went insane over a call that was made.
I'm glad you've seen that.
I thought it'd be cool to bring that up because it's a pretty interesting story, and I don't know exactly what to think about it. I mean, the guy went completely insane.
Well, I don't know if you watched it in detail. Where it got me more than anything, Rob, was the fact that it was over a called ball or strike is where he just come completely unglued, and we've got it up on our screen now, and we're playing it. And he's just going, like you said, he goes completely ballistic over a ball or strike call over the plate. And for those of you that has not seen it, I mean, this guy gets down and covers the plate up with dirt and then draws another plate on top of the dirt. And then he starts grabbing baseball, the third base and the second base, and digs them completely out of the hole, throws them around and picks them up and throws them back down again. And we're actually watching where he's covering a plate up right now. What do you think about that, Rob?
Well, I mean, I can understand being upset about a call, and especially depending on what kind of game it is. If it's a game that really means something, but it really is unprofessional. It's fun to watch. It really is. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained when I watched it on YouTube, but it is really unprofessional in my opinion.
It's very unprofessional.
I do what?
I said it's very unprofessional. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It is. It just, people don't, especially coaches, don't need to act that way. It really shows something about your team, if you're acting that way. I don't know if anything came about it. If he was, I'm sure he was ejected, but if he was fined or anything like that? Do you know?
I have not seen any kind of. I don't know if they've reprimanded him or not. We're going to try to get that pulled up real quick just to see, because that's a very interesting question. And if not, I don't know how much of today's show you've listened to, but when KJ brought this up earlier, talking about role models, Rob, that's not a very good role model when you're seeing a coach of a professional ball club, even though it's AA, AAA, single. It doesn't matter. These guys are still getting paid to play, which makes you a professional. And when you're a professional, especially the managers, when you're a professional, you cannot act like that.
Not at all. No, I completely agree. It's completely unprofessional. I mean, you're under the microscope whether you're in AA, AAA, or Major League. And
especially in Major League.
The video is insane. I don't know.
we actually sat here and watched it, and what did you think about his military crawl coming up behind the pitcher's mound and then picking up the rosin bag and throwing it like a grenade or something at the home plate umpire?
I don't know. I've never seen really anyone do anything like that. I mean, I've seen people get ejected out of hockey games. I've seen coaches get ejected out of baseball games, but they've never done anything like that.
Well,
I've never seen any coach act like that.
You're right. It
very
was something. Yeah, that is totally unprofessional. I will agree with you 100%. And that's one of the things. Like you said, it is very entertaining. And if you want to watch it, I'm sure you can find it on the computer at a million places by now. However, we did pull something up, Rob, and I'll let you know that Major League meltdown by this manager got him a 3-game suspension, but it got him, and this is kind of sad to say this, and in a way that I look at sports, it's made him worldwide fame on the internet. Now, can you imagine how many hits this guy has already got? And I see something else that's very, very entertaining. Braves manager Bobby Cox. I don't know if how big of, I know you're probably, I'm going to guess you're probably a Cardinals fan, right?
I am.
Imagine
indeed.
that, out of Florence, Alabama, Cardinals fan. I can't believe it. But anyway, Braves manager Bobby Cox, who managed the Atlanta Braves during their heyday, so to speak, he called Wellman one of his favorite people in the Atlanta Braves organization, and he said he's seen the clip at least 50 times, and this is Bobby Cox that said that. Now, with that fame that he's gotten on the internet, why do people, say stuff like that?
I have no idea. People will say anything.
Well, when you see things like that, though, I'm like you. I mean, it's kind of sad that they actually show this stuff, but like you said, it's entertainment, and that's what people are around for. People like entertainment, and that's what we hope to do on Sports Talk Mania. Anything else we want to talk about, Rob?
Well, you mentioned Cardinals. I am a Cardinals fan, and I haven't really read too much about it, but I did receive today that Adam Wainwright, who plays for the St. Louis Cardinals, he's going to skip a turn in the rotation to allow, I believe it's tendonitis. He's going to skip the rotation because he's got tendonitis in the back of his pitching elbow, and he's going to try and skip to make sure it's side. And apparently there's quite a bit of people that are some people are a little upset about it, but,
Adam,
I'm just kind of following that, but that's all I know as far as Cardinal news.
Well, Adam Wainwright being one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I know that's they're hoping that it's no more serious than that right there.
Right.
Especially a fan like
and
you.
I hope not. I like Wainwright. I really do.
He's one of the genuine guys in Major League Baseball. I'll agree with you about Adam Wainwright, and like I say, he's one of the best pitchers. I don't care to share this. I'm a Braves fan, but I'm also a Cincinnati Reds fan. I've been a Cincinnati Reds fan all my life, but I'm a big Braves fan, like I say, because they're a little bit closer than the Cincinnati Reds are to me. So I can go watch them. Of course, St. Louis is just about as close as Cincinnati. So, who knows? But, either way, we're going to hope that the best comes out for Adam Wainwright, because he's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, and I hate to definitely see anything happen to him.
Right. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping everything's going to be all right with that. So.
What about hockey? Are you a hockey fan?
Oh, yes, I love hockey.
Did you watch that finals the other night?
I watched the game, and I really enjoyed the game. And in fact, I'm actually a Nashville Predators fan, but I was pulling for the Kings, I have to admit. And it was a game. I like the double overtime, and but I will say I think that the officiating was a little rocky throughout this series, actually. But but other than the officiating by the referees, I think it was a great game. I was entertained, and that's what that's what makes a great Stanley Cup finale right there. Is a double overtime. I mean, it was just fast paced. It was hard. There was hard hitting, fast skating. I mean, it was a great game, and both goalies did well. So I know in the second overtime, the last goal wasn't scored until, I believe it's 20 minutes in the overtime, but the last goal wasn't scored till about four minutes left in the second overtime.
That is
so.
That is
I mean,
correct.
It was a good game. I enjoyed it. Congratulations to the LA Kings.
And I will second that. Congratulations to LA Kings. I'm glad you brought up the officiating. There was something that really just bothered, and like I think what you're seeing, and this is what I saw, is the officials wasn't trying to rip the Kings off. They wasn't trying. They wasn't for either team. It was just they was missing a lot of calls, and then they were making some calls that were very questionable. So and it wasn't just the Kings. It wasn't just the Rangers. The officials wasn't looking at either one of them and picking them out. But I thought the officials, and that was probably one of the worst Stanley Cup officiated Cup series that I actually saw.
I have to agree. It really was, and I mean there was I don't know, there was an instance where let's see if I can pull up a YouTube video or something, but there was one instance where even though I'm a Kings fan, or not a Kings fan, I'm a Predators fan. And I was rooting for the Kings. I still kind of felt bad for the Rangers because of this one call, and I can't remember, but I do remember the other night being a little upset. I don't know. The refs. I mean, you're going to make bad calls. No matter if it's basketball or hockey, anything like that. But I think they missed some calls that could have turned the game around a little bit, and I don't know. It was just the officiating. The game itself was good. The officiating was just a little rocky.
I will agree with you 100%, and like you said, we congratulate the Los Angeles Kings on taking the Stanley Cup this year. I got a question to ask you. If you are a hockey fan, I'm not a tremendous hockey fan. I watch it, especially the Stanley Cups. I usually watch, not probably the whole match, but I will watch, at least a little bit to keep up and see what's going on. I keep hearing the word dynasty. Do you think the LA Kings are a dynasty team? And I'm not sure about that because, again, I don't follow hockey as close as I do other sports. I just don't see them. What I seen the other night was good, but I seen the Rangers just as good. I mean, heck, every one of the matches went into overtime except for one, if I'm not mistaken. Do you see a dynasty?
I don't know. I couldn't even answer that. I think, I think until we see a team win 4 cups, in 7 or 8 years, I actually think the Chicago Blackhawks, would be the team as far as dynasty goes, but I don't know.
I'm going to agree with you on that just based off of what I know about the LA Kings. I didn't see dynasty, especially in this past finals, simply because the Rangers had just as good a team, and the puck goes one way or the other. I think the Rangers could have been holding up the big cup instead of Los Angeles.
Right. I agree.
So
And I don't know. I tell you what though, I'm ready for some more hockey. It's kind of sad that it's over with for a while. And of course I follow the Huntsville Havoc. I'm not just I don't just watch NHL.
right.
I watch I watch some of the minor league teams, which in my opinion are actually a lot more entertaining. It's just like with everything else. In my opinion, I think every independent professional wrestling. Some may say that it's not a sport, it's sports entertainment or whatever. But in the minor league baseball teams and the minor league hockey teams, they play a little bit harder. So I'm ready for them to come back. So it says it's over. Congratulations to LA Kings. Hopefully next season, Preds will do something interesting.
You talking about you a wrestling fan, and you can call wrestling a sport, not call wrestling a sport. Personally, I'm going to call it a sport simply because of some of the maneuvers that these wrestlers make and do. You talk about independent wrestling. How big of a wrestling fan are you, Rob?
Well, I've watched professional wrestling, both independent circuit and the professional wrestling for most of my life. So I guess I would say I'm a pretty big wrestling fan.
Well, are you a big Cena fan?
Oh no, not a Cena fan at all.
Well, since we're talking about who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
I'd have to say.
I'm not saying the best.
I'd have to say Daniel Bryan or Bray Wyatt.
And what is that? Wyatt says, "Follow the buzzards."
Follow the buzzards. That's correct. I like the gimmick, the character he's got going on. It's great. Entertaining.
Well,
creepy, but entertaining.
He is a little bit creepy. You was talking about the Huntsville Havoc, so I'm assuming that since NHL, and again, I've watched some hockey. Unfortunately, I've never been. I want one of those seats that's right beside the glass, where when somebody actually gets checked, I think that's what it's called, checked on the glass. I want to be right there when their face is kind of smudged into the glass, so I can check it out myself close up. So Huntsville Havoc, I'm assuming that since the NHL's over with, the Huntsville Havoc's probably over with as well.
Yes, their season ended way before NHL.
Okay, so does that mean
they were in the playoffs? And if someone can correct me, call in and correct me real quick. I know you have like 2 minutes left in the show, but I believe they went either second or they went third playoffs or whatever. I don't know. I didn't get to see a lot of the playoff games, but they didn't last too long in the playoffs.
Well, they lost in the semis.
Ends around March, I believe.
Okay, well they lost in the semifinals, so. That was back. You're right. At the end of March, early April is when it finished. So, with their season ending earlier, does that mean that they start earlier than NHL?
I believe they may start around the same time. I'm not really sure on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to
I
look
believe
that
they
up.
started around the same time.
We're going to have to look that up and mention that on another show, because now that you mention it, Huntsville's not that far away. I may have to go take me in a hockey match and watch the Huntsville Havoc. And as long as I can get me a seat, like I say, if I'm going to watch hockey, I want to have that seat right beside the glass.
Right. I totally agree. Got to be up there next to the action.
That's right. Hey, Rob, we appreciate you calling. You're more than welcome to call and join us any other Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. Until next time, though, Rob, we appreciate you calling, and have the best of weeks, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right, man. That was Rob from Florence, Alabama. Phone line's still open. We got about another minute left. We know we got a few listeners out there. If you'd like to call and give us a quick one, question or whatever, we will definitely answer your question. Phone line is open for the next minute, 931-623-6090. Want to thank Rob. Want to thank everyone else that's tuned in to join us today on Sports Talk Mania and on the Mustang TV network. And again, don't forget, we got the Big Fred show coming up Thursday evening from the hours of 7 to 8 p.m. And knowing Big Fred, he might even go a few minutes over 8 p.m. And you can check it all out on Mustangs TV. Again, look forward to talking to you each and every Monday from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. I want to thank Tennessee National Raceway for jumping on board and sponsoring the segment of Sports Talk Mania. Until next Monday, Sports Talk Mania, I am Lee Haygood. Everyone have a great week.